Yeah, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome back to Raid Across New York, Living World of Darkness. And this particular scene, after a few weeks back on the Saps, Havika has received a message from the Actinisep down deep in the Florida swamps, wishing to meet with him again. He is excited to hear about this, though. He knows that this could either be a chance or reprimands to his previous test and his behaviors. But he has time to think about his decisions at that time, and a better way, and maybe even the right way, to deal with his emotions with his brother and really understand what it means to be a tuna.
Yes. The Previously he had not completed his quest, although it was somewhat open. But Octena had rejected his appeal to join the tribe of Big Brother, and yeah, he will be when he will come back. Something rather similar will happen. He will be met in. He will be taken through the bayous of northern Florida on a canoe by Uktena kinfolk. And yeah, he will be greeted on the docks of the village that he was in by this figure that he may recognize.
He
She,
raises his
she,
throat.
she will stand there. Havaka of no tribe, you are back again.
Yeah, and he says, "Yes,
Why?
I've been able to meditate on on the right that I failed, and I wish to prove myself that I can follow through on this rite of passage and prove myself to my kin, to Athena."
She nods. Tell me why you failed. For what reason would you not forgive your kin?
My pain and arrogance blinded me. I allowed my brother's position not to have a sense of remorse for our relationship. All I felt was pity and disgust. He didn't give me the satisfaction of him saying sorry to me, or him being in such a way that I would have a proper reason to maybe even kill him. He was truly a broken man, and that wasn't enough for me.
And you sought apology or even reparations for what he did.
All I commended to him that I did not care anymore. That is not forgiveness.
That is not forgiveness. You are, from what I understand, not a stupid cub. You must be aware that you were given a challenge that was appropriate for your background and also for your current home in the Sept of the Green. Uktena, in its great wisdom, gave you a challenge that drew parallels between our tribe and our relationship with the Wormcomers. You are no doubt aware of this.
Yes, Raya.
So, why do you think you were asked to forgive your brother? One who has grievously wounded you, and one who offers you no apology.
And he stops just in silence and he looks down and you see him biting his lip and you see a little bit of blood kind of show up. But he stops and wipes it. Because natives of not only of Turtle Island, but everywhere have been punished by the foreigners, by the wormcomers. And despite that, regardless of how little we are, we endure. And not only have we endured, we've been able to adapt to our attackers. If we allowed the hate to stay in our soul or guide us through our actions, we could not truly adapt and blend in or be with the others.
It is partly necessity, but mainly we do not forgive for their sake. You should not forgive your brother because he deserves it. We do not forgive the Wormcomers and the European tribes because they deserve it, but truly they do not. Partly we do it for necessity, as you say, because Gaia deserves it. But mostly, we do it for ourselves. We do it because to harbor hatred and to harbor evil in our own hearts would corrupt us and would poison us. And the tribe of Big Brother are wise. We know what happens when these things happen. So this is why.
The rage makes it hard.
It does. And part of being a Garu is controlling that. I have no doubt that you have experienced some of the tribe of Wendigo, tribe of Winter, Little Brother. They hold on to their rage to survive. And then in the end, it is all they have. It defines them. They are their rage. They are defined by their hatred of the Western tribes. And that is beneath them. And it has belittled them. We are the Uktena and we are proud. We are not defined by the Western tribes. We are not defined by those who came to kill and rape and conquer. We define ourselves. And this is why we forgive them. If you go forward bearing this hatred you have for your brother in your heart, then he will define you, and you would not be a true Uktena. However, your request has been considered by the elders, and it has been granted. There is one caveat, however. You must prove your worth in another way also. You will stay with us here tonight, and tomorrow you will join in the Braves, improving their worth, their honor, their willingness to sacrifice, and their courage. If you pass that, then you will be sent back the lands of the white man.
Yes, Rye.
Good. Do you have any questions?
He more or less kind of just looks about the area that he's in, and he'll just simply say, I always still hear the rumors that the other tribes don't trust us. Well, I guess I get the same from my Shadow Lord kin as well.
Shadow Lord and Uktena mixed. Two untrustworthy tribes. Why do you think they fear us and do not trust us?
I've always thought that they didn't like the fact that we kept things from them.
We do. Because the knowledge is not theirs, they have not earned it. We walk close to the dark. We know things that they do not know. And we will keep it that way until they prove themselves responsible enough to be worthy of the knowledge.
And he'll just nod. And so nod his snout.
However, do not flaunt it. You are not Silverfang. They will not appreciate the arrogance.
Yes, right.
Hmm, good. You are welcome to stay in the cabin of some of my kin. You will be fed, you will be watered. But I have duties to attend to. The ritual will start at sunrise.
And he nods. And he
I will get.
says,
Sorry, go on.
yeah, he'll just simply say, I will not fail you twice.
You never failed me once. You failed yourself. And she'll walk away. And with that, you will be offered, bed to sleep in. You'll even have your own room. And you will be treated respectfully, but no one really pays you like a heap of attention. People seem to have things to do.
Understandable.
Do you want to do anything before this proposed ritual in the morning?
I guess the first thing, well, I guess, well, Havika will think on it of what the brave is.
He's not been told. If he asks, people will say he has to wait and find out.
Okay. And if that's the case, then I guess at that point he will take the time to just relax back into Hamid, and he will do things that he like, similar to when he figured out that his love is still alive. Do things that he has to normally do, and actually really interact with people. Who has kind of ever since the incident happened before, he always kind of kept himself distant, and at times just be harsh with people for no real reason. But before that, he remembers. Oh, excuse me. That he was much more social, and to a point, even some could even say celebrate, especially back on the island. So he's gonna mainly to spend the time just trying to see if anybody's willing to talk to him. If he sees people that are off duty and maybe seem bored or need some attention, he will try to give that to them.
Most of the older kinfolk don't really seem to pay you an awful lot of attention. You'll get respectful nods being a Garu, but aside from that, not much. However, youths of the kinfolk community will give you a fair amount of attention. Questions will be asked about New York. Questions will be asked about basically about things outside this place. The youth seem to be very multicultural. There's a fair few different Native American languages. They're obviously from different nations. There are also Spanish speakers. There are African Americans. There are no white people or Europeans, but that there's also, yeah, that's more or less it. Yeah, that will be the extent. People will basically just be asking you about New York. They seem to think it's all some grand adventure, and they would love to hear about it, etc.
Uh, he will tell them about what he saw, though his descriptions won't be as fantastical as they probably expect it to be. As he simply says, it's a place of stone and metal and way too many people, and they don't show a lot of respect to each other.
The reactions vary from some of the older boys and girls. Give it some kind of bravado, saying that they would fight the Weaver, and some of the younger kids look kind of scared about the idea of these large cities. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's more or less it. Then you can wait until tomorrow and have a good night's sleep.
Hmm?
In the morning, you will be woken early, and as you are woken, one of the kinfolk will basically just say, "You've got 5 minutes. Get ready. There's some food on the table, and then follow me."
With that, he'll get up and he will do some daily stretches, and he'll even do, which I get, that he does more do at night than at the morning, just because he doesn't. At the time, he didn't really want people to see him. He'll go through small little sequences, and if anybody were to see them, they are very much dance sequences, particularly of Hawaiian descent, and almost, I believe, I think the word is Hakan or Haka, almost. And do
Uh,
that.
the haka is Maori. I don't know if that's what it is.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, you can do that. I don't know much about
no,
Hawaiian
that's my fault. I should have
culture.
looked that up. But
Indeed.
nonetheless, he'll go through a minor sequence. Eat what he can if he still has time. Then
Hmm.
he's ready.
Cool. You will be taken on to the island that you know contains the heart of the sept. And yeah, you will basically be led to a large open area. In it, you see many kinfolk who are sitting around in a large circle. Everyone will be in Homid, even the Garu. And yeah, there's a totem pole in the center, a ritual pole. And you'll basically be guided to sit down. And Praise the Sun will stand up and she will begin a speech in a language you don't understand, as I don't believe you speak Cree. Is it
No, I do
Cree?
not.
Creek, I think is the yeah. Um and yeah. Then she will basically repeat in the Garu tongue, and you are to perform a sun dance, which
Uh,
is a ritual where essentially eagle talons will be pierced into your chest and bound to leather straps, and you will basically have to dance around the pole for a day. It is known that it is only the bravest warriors can do it. It is extremely tiring, extremely exhausting, extremely painful, but yeah, and extremely draining. And you will basically be told that this is your task.
and
And
he will remove his shirt and present himself to be ready. Then, and he does some deep breathing, and some parts seem a little ragged, not showing that he is nervous, but it's not too unsteady that he's in total fear.
mhm, a few of the what you assume kind of like elder kinfolk boys um, do it with you. Uh, you see there are eagle talons. They look as if they've been kind of preserved in some way. Some of them look kind of old, that are bought out, and each of the boys has it pierce their upper breast. It looks very painful. When it is brought to you, there is a special ritual one. It looks much more ornate, and with having dots in primal urge, you get the feeling that it is slightly more. It is, yeah, it is more than simple eagle's talons. It is there is some Garu magic to this, and it will be placed on your flesh, and then dug into them. You take a point of aggravated damage.
And Hamid, this really, really, really hurts.
It
And
does. And Havaka will be told. Havaka will basically be, once it is done, everyone around the circle will begin chanting and singing, and basically the young men will begin dancing. You can kind of like go along with it, but you're not quite aware of like the dance, but it's quite easy to find. It's basically you just kind of like dance in a rhythm around the circle, and people will chant. And yeah,
may I actually roll my performance dance? That's actually my specialty.
absolutely. I'm glad you said that. Just rolling Gyro dice roll and set up the scene if it's not already done.
Yeah, I'll do the quick. And I will spend a point of willpower in this.
Go for it.
One, two, three. Actually, that's one, two, three, four, five, six, and seven. Then minus then one from away. So that's 6 successes.
Wow. Um, yeah, despite the pain, despite the distraction, you managed to join in. And yeah, it is. Um, yeah, you begin dancing around. You see that the rhythm of the dance, you basically kind of slowly move around in a circle, and the thongs, the large kind of like rawhide strips that are kind of loose while you dance begin to get tighter and tighter as you do it. Um, Yeah, throughout the day, you gradually, mostly it's kind of dancing on the spot and then a kind of few steps and then a few steps back, but you gradually begin making your way around. It is tiring. You're dancing for around 2 hours at least at this point. Um, and you begin having to move closer and closer to the central pole as the rawhide strips wind around it and you begin to have less and less slack. Um, it begins to be very painful. It begins to be very, very, very tiring. I would like you to take a point of rage and roll frenzy, please. You may spend a. Oh no, you can't spend willpower on frenzy anymore. But yeah,
All right, then my rage would be at 4.
the difficulty is. Oh, let's find it. The difficulty will be 5.
All right, then I believe I make it.
That is a frenzy.
Oh, oh yeah, we're not supposed to get successes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is. Uh,
You dance around, and the pain begins to get to you. The exertion begins to get to you. You begin to you begin to feel kind of like the pain from it all begins to be too much. And just as you're about to enter frenzy, you hear a flute join in. And a flute will be beginning to be played that snaps you out of it somehow, calms you down just as you were on the verge. You even almost began to kind of like shift up into Glabro. But your rage will subside before you frenzy. And
he,
you know that
yeah,
some kind of magic has been used on you.
yes, he will taken, no, mentally be taken aback about that almost what happened and what just kind of negated that effect. He would try to see what it is, but he knows that's not important right now. Just keep going with the dance, because if he were to hesitate, he would probably get hit with exhaustion, and that is not what happens right now.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you continue dancing. It is in a lot of exertion. Long story short, it will last a long time. You are going to end up with 2 points of aggravated damage altogether as the flesh is ripped from your chest, and you are going to expend a further 2 willpower in addition.
All right.
But you successfully, if you ever come close to the brink of frenzy, the flute will pipe up, and it will keep your frenzy down. And you will essentially having to keep doing it. The frenzy keeps being taken from you. It begins to be frustrating. It's almost like that would have been the release from this pain and from this endurance. But you manage to keep it down, and unless you want to, you do
Uh,
not stop.
Unless I guess the only thing that would matter right now is the moon cycle, because I do have a merit that affects my capabilities depending on the moon cycle. Other than that, no,
No, this is entirely going to be essentially a role play thing.
no.
You can dance, and you will dance from dawn till dusk. And yeah, as I said, you will have some of your kind of mental capacities and resources expended, but you will be successful. A couple of the others kind of like collapse from exhaustion, and they will be kind of like taken away. It doesn't seem like they lost any honor. It seems like that their honor was just merely participating is considered an honorable act. There's no shame in what seems to happen. They will come back and rejoin the circle, and they look jubilant and will encourage you and the others to keep going.
That makes it. This isn't easy. So it's not like they gave up in the first 5 minutes. So
Yeah. No, 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 and they didn't. No,
Yeah.
they all dance for hours, but you will dance for a long, long time, 10, 12 hours. You are quite unsure by the end of it. At the end of it, there will be a rising crescendo of shouting and noise, and as the final sun's ray, basically the sun will gradually kind of like shadows will lengthen up the totem pole, and as the final sun's rays leaves the top of the totem pole, there will be a great whooping and cheering, and the drums will rise to a glorious crescendo, and then a final silence, and then you will collapse to your knees, and you will feel something in you that this is something that you never had in the Shadow Lord Steps. You never, certainly never had in the Steps of the Green. But this is the ritual of perhaps not your people. I believe you're Iroquois or Cherokee.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, perhaps not your people, but from this is I believe actually a shared ritual among many Native American countries, and you will feel a great deep connection to the larger First Peoples thing. You know, you're part of the Uktena. You're part of the Cree. You're part of the Cherokee, and this feels some deep connection back to your roots. You will be delirious for a little while, but you will kind of like come to. You will be given water, and you will be given food, and you are being congratulated and say you danced very, very well. And yeah, the rest of the night, there is a party. There are people that are dancing much less painfully. You're welcome to join in. The kin and the garu all seem to be kind of like meeting as equals. Uh, pipes of various things will be passed around. Peyote and marijuana are both smoked. I believe they do not use ayahuasca in North America, so that will not be. Sorry, I'm just
No,
thinking.
that's fine.
And but yeah, you can get very, very high, very, very drunk. You can, yeah, basically have a very nice time, and you will be celebrated.
He will mainly dance and eat, and he'll drink a little bit because he feels that being losing himself tonight is not the smart thing to do. At least not right now. Maybe
Mhm.
later.
Cool. Then you will be congratulated, and you will fall asleep at some point. The day was very exhausting for you. The next morning, another kin will come and say you are to meet. Uh, praises the sun back in the place you first met her. Not sorry, you first met her. The place, the heart of the cairn, rather.
Mhm. And with that, he'll he will there. Excuse me. He'll prepare himself again, go through a sequence in the morning, get some food, and excuse me, go to the pool.
Cool. When you are there, praise the sun will meet you. You did well last night. How did it make you feel?
He has a actual smile on his face, and he says, "It made me feel fulfilled. It's been a long time since I had that."
Good. On your performance, the great and mighty Uktena has deemed that you deserve another chance. The bridge will be opened as before, but this time it will only remain open for a few hours. You are not there to meet your former family and enjoy yourself. Your mission is your mission. It will it will be closed at dusk. If you are not back by dusk, well, you can make your own way home.
And he actually smiles at that a bit, and it's actually a genuine smile, and he just simply nods. And I guess once the pool is ready, instead of I guess swim diving like he did before, he almost in a way just kind of jumps in, feet first.
Mm-hmm. The same thing will happen. It will be a dark rush. You will momentarily be suspended in the water, and you will feel around you a dark, coiling presence within the water. And then you will be caught in something, some underwater current, and you will be dragged down into the depths, into the dark depths. You will go zooming along caves. This current is dragging you. Occasionally, you will knock into the rocks and the walls, but it won't hurt overly. And then eventually there will be a light just as you're about to reach the limits of your breath holding abilities, and you will be able to rise up into the same pool in the Carpathian Mountains that you did before.
When he emerges, he kind of shakes himself in his wet clothing and sees if anybody's here like last time. Just more or less just to kind of go hi, then bye, go past them. But if no one's around, he will shift into Lupus and go to the forest that he knows his brother should be at.
There will be a few people that kind of raise their hands seeing you were here like not very long ago,
Yeah.
and they'll be kind of a bit weirded out. And one of the guardians will shout to you, "Havaka, you're back!"
I will simply yip a little bit in acknowledgement, but I keep moving.
He will kind of he doesn't seem overly alarmed. You're a known factor. You yeah. But yeah, he looks a little bit alarmed, a little bit weirded out. But yeah, you will be able to make your way. I assume you're going to the valley that your brother is kept in.
Yes.
Kept in. He's exiled too.
I'll,
Then you are, yeah, you are able to get there. It looks much the same. There are rabbit corpses in the same places. You see the occasional bottle of vodka or kind of like yeah, packet of fast food that's been discarded and littered,
as
rumpled slightly.
he goes by the corpses, he will, though he knows he's on a short time frame, he will actually take the time to dig like minor holes and put the corpses underground. And he'll do his best to kind of shift the trash into one area as he makes his way through. And once he gets too close to the river, he'll see if the shack is still there and if he's still there.
The shack is still there. However, in closer inspection, you will find that he is not here.
He'll look around, he'll begin sniffing to see if he gets his brother scent.
You do get a scent. It is the smell of body odor, Silverfang pure breed, and alcohol. And it leads off into the woods.
That he actually kind of he's a bit confused and shocked about because he didn't know that about his brother. So that even makes him really makes him like really confused almost.
No, I'm an idiot. Shadow Lord pure breed. I'm
Okay.
really sorry. Yeah,
No,
that was a complete mistake on my part. Shadow Lord
no,
pure breed.
no, I don't know. That could be a thing. I don't know.
Yeah, that would have been a twist, eh? I think you would have noticed that before, but yeah.
But you'll begin following the scent and see if he can find him.
Sure, you follow it far, not too far, kind of up, slightly up into the heights of the valley, and you come across him in a clearing. And he does not see you coming. He is kind of like squatted over. You can hear sounds of bones crunching
Like he squatted over in a bipedal form, or
in a bipedal form. Yeah, in Honor.
okay,
Actually,
he
no. Sorry, he's in Glabro.
okay. Well, that's still bipedal, regardless. Yeah, doesn't matter.
Yeah, yep.
He will pad over next to him and sit next to him and shift down or just relax.
As you go over to him, he well, basically, as you kind of enter the clearing, he hears you. He turns around, uh, eyes wide. There is blood around his mouth, and you see that he has was eating a some kind of grouse, some kind of mountain game bird. raw. His glabro fangs covered as are his hands with his big pile of feathers. Havika, come to taunt me again, brother.
No. As he continues forwards and said, "Oh, relax," and actually just sit next to him.
He definitely kind of like moves away a little. He looks a little on guard. And then when you sit next to him, he just looks at you.
Hmm.
What do you want?
And he looks over to him and he'll say, "Have you thought about going to another town and creating a new life?"
A new life. I mean, Arun. Don't think I could really get very far.
It would be harder.
So I don't know anything about it. I'm a Garu. That's what I was brought up to be. I'm not some lick spittle kinfolk.
Hey, the Silver Fangs and the Glassfuckers know how to be with people pretty well.
They're weak fools. I'll try, and he stops himself. The
We
Shadow
still
Lord
deal with people
kinfolk.
too. We're
I've
just
got.
not as nice about it.
I don't want to have a conversation with you. Why are you here?
I'm here to say I forgive you for what you did.
Ha 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 ha. Very funny.
No, I actually mean it this time.
He looks at you, squinting his eyes, and then looks around. Why?
Gus, there's more to this world than hating your own family.
We're
There's,
not family anymore. Father
uh,
disowned me.
well, regardless of his opinion, you are still my half brother. And you'll always be that, no matter what he says. And I know you are sometimes a extremely unthankable, blithering bastard. You have done some good to us. And I hope one day maybe you can regain that. There's already so little of us. There's no reason to kill each other at this kind of level.
He's still looking at you slightly quizzically, and kind of like you see that he looks more angry than anything. Well, anger and confusion.
And he will stand up and look at him and say, "I know you're probably not in the mood for it, but you probably should try to figure out a way to maybe get a better sense of life. Just eating off these games and sulking all the time is going to get bored eventually." I know it's harder for Arun, so I do get that. But I do know that Arun still can survive in a city or just in a town. That should be easier. I wish you the best of luck.
He just looks at you for a moment and says, "You know they'll never forgive me. I
And
know deep down they don't. That Father will never forgive me, and I know deep down that I don't deserve it. It's not the Shadow Lord way."
he actually smiles at him. And it's an actual genuine smile and says, "You know we've done much worse." And he actually lets us sink into those words because he knows that's very, very true. And that's really dawned on him about that part of his family and part of himself.
What do you mean? He seems to be unaware of it. What you mean?
I've been told when I was younger by the people on the island that the Shadow Lords have done things that most people don't even want to talk about. There's even a rumor that we killed one of Guy's children once.
What? The Shadow Lords? What do you mean?
I don't know. There's some tribe in the areas where I think they're called Mexico. There was a people there. We wiped them out because we didn't think they were worthy enough to be here. Funny, huh? We don't even live on that place, but the Shadow Lords thought they didn't deserve to be there because they felt they were unclean. They felt that they know better.
Sounds like us.
Sounds
Judges.
also like our Silver Fang brothers, too.
Do you think if I came to America, I could make a new life? I know I won't be accepted into a tribe, maybe the Bone Gnawers, but if I came to a sept and I proved myself, I want to serve Gaia, and I know I've done wrong, and I would like a second chance.
Back on my sept, we are rehabilitating a black spiral kin. So I think if she can be forgiven, I'm pretty sure you can too. And
You
I
know,
always hear that New York is a good place to start a new life.
I don't want to come to New York. I don't want to interfere with your stuff there, but. And he'll shrug. Maybe I'll look around. If the Shadow Lords have done so much wrong there, maybe I can look at. What I'm trying to say is thank you, Havaka.
You don't have to, but I appreciate it. And he'll actually go over to his brother, and only with minor hesitation he will actually hug him.
He looks a bit awkward as you do this, but yeah, we'll kind of pat you on the back awkwardly, and then he will turn away and walk into the forest.
You kind of let this moment sink in for a moment. Partially thinking about that to himself that he never thought he'd be in this position, ever, really, and just kind of lets the dance, the ritual, the sept within Florida, just his life in general, kind of wash over him for a moment, and really let that sink in about what's he doing and what he's done and what he plans to be doing. And after that moment, he will, if he looks upon the sky and sees if he has time, will visit his father briefly and hug him and actually say that he's proud to be his son.
He looks a little surprised that you're back, but yeah, seems to be happy, and yeah, doesn't seem too annoyed when you tell him that you went to see your brother and etc. 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 And then, assume before nightfall you were going to head back.
Yep.
And you head back, the journey is much the same as before. As you head back, you will be greeted by Praises the Sun. And she will say, Mighty Uktena tells me that you have done your task, that your soul is now unburdened.
And he says, my soul will always be burdened. I just learned to rise above it.
Then you are one of us. Uktena accepts you into our tribe. And we are glad.
When he hears those words, there will actually be tears running down his face. Really hearing those words and having this moment be truly realized.
And with Havika's acceptance into the tribe of Uktena and attaining the rank of Cleath, would you like to end the scene?
Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. Have a good morning, evening, or afternoon.